Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hooked on Fantasy. Today, we are joined by our first guest and a very special guest, Hutchison, or Hutch if you're nasty. Hutch, how you doing, man?
Good, Luke. Super excited to be here. Super excited to talk some NFC South. Going to be really fun today.
Yeah, we're breaking down the NFC South, continuing with our divisional breakdowns. Already did the AFC and NFC North. Already did the AFC South if you want to listen to that episode. And now we are on to the NFC South. We're going to be moving out west next. So Hutch, let's just jump right into it, man. Let's go for the Atlanta Falcons. One of my favorite teams for fantasy this season. They have a lot of interesting players on the roster, especially in the running backs. So let's start there. Mike Davis, Quadzilla himself, the offseason picture with him in that hat.
Yeah, dude, that was
popping out. That's a great picture. But I don't think I have any shares of Mike Davis this year. Do you?
No, not so far. No, he's just a guy that I'm mainly avoiding. I just don't trust him as a player. I know the volume's going to be there, but he's a strict volume play. That's pretty much it. And for me, I just don't really like that as a RB2. I'm not really going to trust him very much.
Yeah, I think the only situation where I would draft Mike Davis is if I started off with two really strong running backs and I want an RB3 with upside in the flex. I think he's great right there, but I don't really know if I would want him as my RB2 either. The good thing is, though, I think he could see a really heavy workload with a lot of receptions, which would be really nice, especially with Julio gone. We could see an increase in targets on the backfield, though. So
yeah, 100%.
That should be interesting.
And Matt Ryan can't run the ball either, so if he's in trouble, he'll throw it right to Mike Davis because there's no one else there that's going to catch passes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's going to be Mike Davis, 100%.
The thing I'm actually most interested in with the Atlanta Falcons, though, is who the number 2 wide receiver is going to be, because we all know Calvin Ridley is going to be the one. He's going to the moon this year. Isn't he your wide receiver 1?
He is number 1 in my rankings. I put Adams up, and then I tweeted like an hour later, sorry, can't keep Ridley lower than 1.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I don't blame
back
you.
up to 1. I just can't.
He's my 3.
He's going to be
also very
fantastic.
high on him.
Yeah,
he's my wide receiver 3.
Yeah, he's going to be fantastic.
So who do you have it to? Is Adams your 2 then?
Yeah, Adams 2, Diggs 3, Hill 4, Hop 5.
I like it. So question for you. We're going to move off wide receiver and go back to quarterback for a second. So we talked a little bit pre-show. He is off Matt Ryan this season, and he has Calvin Ridley as his wide receiver 1. So Hutch, please explain yourself. Also, hi Rob, I love you in the chat. Hi Rob.
Yeah, I have Ridley as my wide receiver 1, but Matt Ryan is not going to be good for fantasy himself. And I know what you're saying. Ridley is 1, but you're not really in on Matt Ryan. We've seen irrelevant fantasy quarterbacks provide great fantasy options at the receivers. We saw Teddy Bridgewater last season provide Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson at times, and DJ Moore was always right in the low wide receiver 2 range. The thing is, I feel like Calvin Ridley is going to be the next Julio Jones in this offense. Like, he's going to be the guy that sees all the volume, like tons and tons of volume. Matt Ryan's going to learn to lean on him. But without, if you lose that elite of a receiver, it's just so tough. We saw Matt Ryan last year in the 7 games where Julio was gone. Matt Ryan's splits, man, if you look at those splits, it was so bad.
Good old Matt Ryan.
Calvin Ridley, but at the same time, Calvin Ridley was over 100 yards per game. Yeah. Like, Calvin Ridley he had only 2 games under 100 yards and 0 games under 50 yards. He was fantastic. And Matt Ryan was terrible. Matt Ryan was just a really bad player when Julio Jones was gone, and Calvin Ridley still worked. So without Julio there for a full season, Matt Ryan's going to have to figure it out, and I don't really think he does. I really think Matt Ryan has a down season this year. He's still going to be like a low-end quarterback 2 because of strict volume, because this offense is probably going to pass the top 3, and they're probably going to be top 3 in pass attempts in the NFL next season. That's how they've always been with their defense. And just with Matt Ryan.
Dude, I could suit up and be a defensive starter for the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow. That's how bad their defense is.
I think you could. Yeah, I think you totally could. Whether you're working out, you're in the gym this morning, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll play strong safety for the Falcons.
100%, man. Yeah. But yeah, Matt Ryan's just really going to struggle, and he's going to be a volume play in super flex. I no way trust him like QB1, and I'm really just avoiding him. He's being drafted as a top 15 quarterback. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I think I have him in that 14 to 18 range right now. I think he's a really good quarterback 2 with upside. Like, I think it's definitely in the range of outcomes for him to finish as a QB1 this year, but I'm definitely not projecting him that way. I think that the thing they're missing is a wide receiver too, obviously. But I mean, to pose,
I trust Russell Gage.
I do too. I like Russell Gage a lot. But moving over to the tight ends for a second, I do think Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst is still there. I think that we could really see them either run a lot of 2 tight end sets or play Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst as kind of like a hybrid wide receiver kind of position. I'm just really interested to see how often Hurst and Pitts are on the field at the same time, or if it's just one of them, or just like what that offense is going to look like with the hyper targeted positions. I mean, we know Calvin Ridley is going to get a million bajillion targets.
100%. Yeah.
Is Kyle Pitts or Hayden Hurst going to kind of step up into like half Julio Jones-ish role for like a target share? Like I just don't understand how it's going to look, It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. I think Russell Gage gets a pretty high target share. I'm actually liking Russell Gage a lot this year. But
same.
The thing about Pitts is that he's a rookie tight end. And that's just I see Ryan, Kyle Pitts in the moon.
Love you, Ryan.
Along with the two of you. Thank you, man. But the thing about it's just he's a rookie tight end, and this offense is more crowded than people might actually think. With Hayden Hurst and Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley and Mike Davis in the passing game, I have him as a low end tight end 1, but he's going as like the tight end 4, tight end 5 in redraft, and I just can't touch him there. It's just
I think I have him as like my tight end like 6 or 7 this year. I think that he's gonna be good. I just don't think he's gonna live up to the ADP.
Yeah, I have him at 8 right now, I believe. But I think he's gonna be fine, but he's not going to be what people expect him to be and what people are drafting him to be. I just really don't see it with the crowded offense. Like I've said a second ago, Matt Ryan's gonna struggle. I just don't think there's gonna be enough volume for him, especially with especially knowing that Hayden Hurst is also going to compete for tight end targets. It's just really, really tough to trust.
What if someone told you right now that the Atlanta Falcons head coach called you and said that Kyle Pitts is going to be playing on the outside at wide receiver for like half the season? How would that make you feel?
That means he'd probably move up. Like if he were to like be replacing Russell Gage on the outside, he would move up to like 5 or 6. I still wouldn't be taking him as ADP though.
I currently have Kyle Pitts at my tight end 6. I'm going to share my screen real quick just because my rankings, just for the tight ends. Just to talk over these real quick. I mean, who do I have Kyle Pitts over that you disagree with? I have Kyle Pitts as my tight end 6 with Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, Hawkinson, and Mark Andrews above him. Fant, Goddard, Tunyon, Troutman, Gesicki, Jonnu, Ingram, Kmet, Thomas, etc. below him.
So I'm going to pull up my rankings right now. I have them here. I won't share my screen. I'll let you keep yours up.
Sure.
But I have Kelsey at 1, Waller 2, Kittle 3, Hawkinson 4, and Andrews 5. So
all right, so we have the same top 5. Yeah.
And then Gesicki or Goddard. Gesicki at 6. I'm really high on him.
Whoa, you love Mike Gesicki. That's weird.
I'm very high on Mike Gesicki.
Why do you like Gesicki so much? Let's go down that rabbit hole. I'll pull these down now.
Gesicki, look, I believe in Tua, number 1. And number 2,
I don't know if I do or not. Yeah, we can
do.
Touch on that in a second.
I believe in Tua. I think he's going to break out. And I don't believe in Jalen Waddle. I mean, most people know that about me. I'm not a believer in Jalen Waddle.
In real life or in fantasy? In fantasy, I don't either.
In fantasy, I don't. And just as a prospect, I don't. I don't like the way I don't like the way he tucks the ball into his chest. He depends on his body to catch the ball. And I don't like the way he does that.
Okay.
NFL corners are to punch that out all the time.
Okay.
I don't trust Will Fuller will stay healthy without his PEDs or whatever. I don't trust Devontae. I don't trust Devontae Parker to stay fully healthy. He was very injury. He had a lot of injuries last year. Myles Gaskin is going to be hurt a lot. Mike Gesicki, I think at least some.
You're predicting the entire Miami Dolphins offense gets injured.
Yes, I'm not betting on. No, I'm not betting on it.
I'm kidding.
I'm not betting on it. But there's a lot of chances that happens, and if Tua struggles, he'll lean on his tight end, his safety blanket tight end, which is Mike Gesicki. And Mike Gesicki,
sure.
I'm very high on Mike Gesicki as a prospect anyway. And he finished Mike Gesicki, even with Tua playing bad, and Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't really target the tight end. He finished the tight end 7 last season. He finished as a top 8 tight end. So I'm very, very confident in him. Mike Gesicki was pretty great when Tua was on the field, even though Tua struggled. I'm very confident in Gesicki to be able to step up. And then Goddard, I'm just very confident in this Eagles offense that they like to target the tight end.
Sure.
Ertz coming back.
That does hurt him.
There have been reports that are Ertz is at camp. If we know Ertz is playing week 1, Goddard will plummet. And Pitts will be put at
absolutely.
7.
Well, did you see the quote
Goddard
that
will
came
play
out
and Pitts will be put
from
at
the
7.
GM? He said that he expects Zach Ertz to be there to start the season.
And he has blonde hair, and it looks like the worst. But, if Ertz is there, Goddard will plummet outside the top 10 most likely.
Absolutely,
my rankings, and Pitts will be left at 7. But if Goddard's the starter and Ertz is gone or he's not going to play, I mean, Goddard is going to be at least the number 3, if not the number 2. We'll see what happens with Rager in this offense, and that's enough for a tight end to be great because this team is going to pass a lot because it's not like they have an elite running back to lean on. I know Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders a lot, but they don't have him to lean on him.
No.
And their defense is not impressive. I don't project their defense.
Pretty average.
It's an average defense, and they passed a lot last year, even though Carson Wentz was struggling. They were passing a lot. And that just leads to more volume for Dallas Goedert. And Jalen Hurts, I believe, will struggle a lot in the passing game, and he's going to lean on a safety blanket, and that's Dallas Goedert. Sure. Jalen Rager is a deep threat. Devonta Smith is a smaller guy. So Dallas Goedert is going to be the safety blanket tight end. And
we got a question from YouTube real quick, Hutch.
Yeah.
He said, I'm picking 11th in a 12-team league. I've been offered a trade for 14. I'd get pick 21 and 29. So I'd pick 11, 21, 29, 35, and 38 instead of 11, 14, 35, and 38. Good or bad trade? I think I would take that trade.
Yeah, I would too. Well, it depends on dynasty or redraft. I'm assuming this is redraft. Right?
It feels like redraft to me. Akash in the chat is also asking if this is Superflex or not. We'll get back to that in a second. But I think either way, this is a good trade for you because you're getting more top-tier draft picks.
You get a lot of top-tier draft picks here. Yeah, you get a lot of top-tier draft picks, and you only lose one. So I'm taking that trade 100% there. It doesn't really matter what formats or what type of league it is. I'm taking that. But anyway, so what were we talking about again? We're talking about
Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert and the Eagles passing offense with Jalen.
Yeah, Hurts is going to lean. I love how we're just talking about the Eagles offense in the NFC South.
We'll get back on track. We'll get back.
We'll get back. But yeah,
we'll get back there.
Hurts is going to lean on Dallas Goedert as a safety blanket tight end, and I would definitely think Goedert over Pitts as long as Goedert is the tight end there. But if Ertz is starting week 1, that's tough. And can I just say about Ertz real quick? He's a waste
I
of
love
time.
Dallas Goedert, but if Dallas Goedert was still a starter, I think I'd rather have Pitts just for the upside. I just don't think there's a world where Goddard cracks the top 5.
But at their prices, what would you rather?
True. I mean, I need to see their ADPs, but straight up, is definitely cheaper.
Straight up, it's very, very close. But I think I'd rather have Goddard because the bust ability of Kyle Pitts, rookie tight ends really don't work. The highest finish of a rookie tight end. I mean, Evan Ingram obviously had his crazy season, and then Travis Kelce at tight end 8. I mean, I just don't really know. I don't usually love targeting middle end tight ends, but I feel like I'm getting a middle round tight end in the 4th round, and I'm just not really trustingYle Pitts right now. I really, really can't do it.
That's fair. Let's get back on track.
Right now, as long as Ertz is not starting, which I still don't think he will. I think he will be traded or cut. I think he will. I really still think so. I don't care he's showing up at camp with his
even if the GM said this morning that he's expecting him to be there for the start of the season.
I don't trust this Eagles front office at all. I don't trust a single word they say. I don't trust a single thing they say. I don't understand though, because I want to trust they keep him because Ertz is last year Ertz was a clear waste of targets.
Sure,
he just was. He was absolute garbage. Just pure trash. Ertz is done. Ertz is done. He's not good at football anymore. I want him off the team so that Dallas Goedert could break out and that this team doesn't have to waste targets on other players anymore. But I just don't trust the Eagles to do the right thing. So I feel like I want to say that Ertz will be gone, but I feel like in the back of my mind, I'm saying Ertz is going to stay. We'll see what happens. If we know Ertz is starting week 1, Dallas Goedert will be plummeted in the rankings and Pitts will be at 7. But I'm not moving Pitts above any of the 6 guys I mentioned earlier. There's no chance.
That's fair. All right, moving on to the New Orleans Saints, a team that has had a lot of turnover and turmoil this offseason. Wait, we have a question from Akash in the chat. Do you think
it's very interesting? It's stupid.
You said, do you think it's interesting that Ertz
Stupid.
earned a higher target percentage than Goddard last year? No, I just think that
don't
he has like the tenure and the team trusts him a lot. So I mean, he's
Yeah, and Wentz and Ertz have a pretty nice relationship, and Wentz was starting most of the time that Ertz was there. So it's not very interesting, but it's stupid. I mean, it just is.
That's fair. Anyway, okay, moving back on to the Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints have had a lot of turnover this offseason, especially with Drew Brees, the captain at the helm, being gone. We still have no idea who the hell the starting quarterback is going to be. It's going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. I am praying to Sean Payton every night before I go to bed that it's Jameis Winston for the team's sake.
Really?
But yeah, I think he deserves another chance. But I just think that Taysom is a very average quarterback. He'd be fun for fantasy, but I don't know. That's not my favorite. Starting there with the quarterbacks, if Jameis Winston is the quarterback, I think he's a top 20 guy for sure. I don't know about top 15 or top 12 because we don't know the passing volume or aggressiveness.
Maybe not in the Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah.
With all those
Scott Fishbowl. Yeah, Scott Fishbowl is wild, man. I locked up the Denver Broncos quarterbacks in Scott Fishbowl. I got Lock and Teddy, so for my QB3. For my QB3, yeah, I'm not relying on them for my starters, but for backups, it's interesting. Hill, I think, would be a quarterback one if he starts, just because of his legs. He rushes too much to not be a QB1. I think it'd be gross, but I think he would finish in the top 15 easily. I think he would definitely crack the top 12 week to week.
Yeah, probably.
And then at running back, Alvin Kamara.
I could put him at QB1. I don't know if I could put him in the top 12, but he'd definitely be in the top 15 in my rankings. If
absolutely.
One. I don't think even any of them are even in my top 24. I'm just deciding not to rank them and just saying, okay, I have no clue who's starting, so I'm not going to rank them yet.
I think I projected Jameis as the starter in my rankings because that's what I want to happen. I'm manifesting it. But for Alvin Kamara, I'm really scared for him if Taysom Hill's the starter because he did not throw the ball to him like at all when he was the starting quarterback last season. I think it'll change if he does become the starter. It just concerns me. Overall, I think Kamara's in for a great workload this season. I don't love him that much at his ADP. What do you say?
With Michael Thomas now gone, it's very, very interesting because I think he could take care of that team himself. Like there was an amazing meme and like Thanos was picking up the gauntlet saying, "Oh, I'll just do this myself," and it was just Kamara's face on him.
Oh, absolutely. I remember wasn't it last season where he was averaging like 80 yards a game or something through the air. Like he was on a mission last season for like a chunk of the season. He's so good. I don't love drafting players who are coming off of like a career all-time high season that much at ADP usually because it's usually a bad sign that like regression's coming. But Kamara is a monster. I am honestly drafting Derrick Henry over him at ADP right now. I love Kamara though. I think he's a stud. Dynasty, he still has a great future in front of him. I think he's a great running back, and I think he's going to produce this season. Moving on to the wide receivers, which is a lot more interesting with Michael Thomas gone.
Yeah. Or the tight end.
Who? I mean, Troutman's the only guy really that I like a lot besides Kamara on this team.
Troutman's moved up to my tight end 13.
I think he's my tight end like 10.
Really?
I really like Troutman. I think that he's going to be targeted a lot in this offense, especially with Thomas gone.
Yeah, I still have Evan Ingram as tight end 10, but I could see that going down because
Dude, Ingram scares me. I like him. I think he's a great value right now at his ADP. He's super low ADP, like really low.
His ADP is crazy low. I like him at his ADP, but I don't know. He's scary.
I do too. It's just like Kyle Rudolph's there too. We forget about him. I mean, he's kind of washed, but like he's going to take some end zone targets.
Yeah, I feel I'm going to move Ingram. I feel I'm going to move Ingram down. I don't know if Troutman breaks a top 10 for me though. I don't trust him that much.
I love Troutman. Let's go.
I know you do. Yeah, I know you love Troutman a lot, but I think he's gonna be great. But I'm just
scared.
I'm just scared. Yeah, I'm just a little scared. Second year tight end.
It's risky. It's very risky. Him at quarterback, that passing volume is not going to be very high, but he's going to get a large percentage of the target share, in my opinion. So
yeah, he's going to have the chance, and if he steps forward and really like improves, and he's like really showing off. When Michael Thomas comes back, I feel he'll be the locked-in number 2 target, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think I agree. I think he is.
When Michael Thomas, if he really shows off, when Michael Thomas comes back, he'll be the number 2 option because he's proven himself. Obviously, I think Michael Thomas is a better receiver than Adam Troutman. Don't get me wrong, but Adam Troutman, if he proves himself, he'll be the locked-in number 2 option because there's no one else. It's Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway. Like who?
Is it Traquan season? No. Never.
I have him on a few of my teams. I actually think
really
right now he could be good. Right now, I think he could be great. This for the start of the season. I
He
think he'd
definitely could be good. I'm not projecting it. So that's the New Orleans Saints in a
Yeah.
bubble. I mean, the receivers are gross right now. Troutman's kind of delicious. Kamara's always delicious, and the quarterbacks are disgusting. So
Yeah, I'm not.
moving on to the Super
I'm
Bowl
really
champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have quite the arsenal of amazing weapons. Running back, I mean, Rojo and Fournette, you never really know. It's kind of 50-50. I like Rojo a lot, though, at his ADP currently.
Rojo, outside the top 30 backs, is a guy that I'm getting in a lot of my drafts.
Same.
Like,
I'm not leaving drafts without him most of the time.
Like, outside of Gus Edwards, I think Rojo is my most highly owned guy right now in my drafts. Like, I'm getting him all over the place. Like, Rojo is he's going so low. And even with all the confusion last year, even with the fumbling, even with the benching, even with Leonard Fournette taking over at some points, he was a top 20 back in PPR. He finished
my highest exposure players on Underdog right now are Mike Evans, David Montgomery, Kirk Cousins, which is really weird, Juju, Paris Campbell, Tom Brady, Adam Thielen, Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Terry McLaurin.
Well, Elijah Moore is one that I'm targeting too a lot.
I love Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Rojo. I'm targeting Rojo, and I'm avoiding Fournette. I just think.
Yeah, I'm off Lenny.
I don't think he's. I just don't think. I mean, sure, he's a 50. I just think Rojo's more talented. And Rojo, remember, absolutely. A lot of people don't forget about this. Rojo is 23, turning 24 this season.
He's so young.
He's entering the prime of his career, and he was drafted so young. He's entering the prime of his career. I think we could see a big season from him this season. But another guy that I'm really liking, I actually recorded my episode today for the Unfantasy My Football podcast. I was talking another running back sleeper because we're doing the running back previews. And I'll give you guys a little teaser here. I talked about Giovanni Bernard. He's a guy that...
he could be a PPR guy.
He could be a massive PPR guy because Tom Brady loves to target the running back. We saw it with James White in the years with Tom Brady in New England. James White was pretty good for fantasy.
We love James White.
James White was really good for fantasy. And I could see Gio getting 100+ targets from Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady wanted to pass the ball to the running back because what he hates getting sacked, and he can't run. So he's going to throw to the running back. And if he can't trust Rojo, which you clearly can't, Rojo has bricks for hands. I love him, but Lenny. He does. And Lenny is not he's better than Rojo, but he's not a great pass catcher.
Is he though? They both are terrible pass catchers. I don't even know.
I think Lenny is fine. But Gio is also such a good pass blocker. Like a pass blocker.
Yeah. Like, he's going to be up there on third down every single time, in my opinion. He's going to be the third down guy.
He's going to be there a lot. And it's really going to help him out. I think Gio is a great sleeper for a running back position.
Absolutely. I think for best ball too, he's a fantastic pick.
Yeah, best ball especially. At best ball, he'll be great.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Moving on to the wide receivers, I mean,
this is crazy.
Do I even need to talk about these guys? I mean, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown's a great sleeper. Dude. Mike Evans, most likely a locked and loaded top 12 receiver.
Top 15 easily.
Top 15, definitely.
I bet my house he finishes top 15. I would.
Really?
I would. It's a lock. I mean, every year he's like always like. Has he been out of the top 20 ever?
Yeah, he's always right there, and he's just a great red zone threat. He's used in the red zone a lot. And then Chris Godwin's a guy I'm very high on. I have him as a wide receiver 14 in my rankings. Like, he's a guy I'm very, very high on.
He's kind of underrated these days, honestly.
Very underrated.
People don't talk about him much anymore.
He's very, very underrated. He's such a great receiver. Remember, he was the wide receiver 2 behind Michael Thomas in 2019.
I forgot about that season. He was a monster that year.
Dude, I had Christian McCaffrey and Chris Godwin on the same team, and I won the championship.
Unfair.
That was my first year playing fantasy football.
That
was my first year playing fantasy, and I won the Super Bowl with that team.
You were spoiled.
Godwin, dude, he's such a great receiver, and he's the 1A, 1B of this offense in the passing game. He just is. It's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and then kind of like 3, like the rest of them are the 3. That's just kind of how it works.
Absolutely.
And Godwin, in the last games, he was a top 12 guy. Like the last down the stretch, when he was fully healthy, this offense was clicking. He was a top 12 guy. He just was. And all the receivers were there healthy. Mike Evans was there. Antonio Brown was there. Gronk was there. They were all there healthy, and he was still great.
Dude, this
It
Bucs
wasn't
offense is
it
so
wasn't
loaded.
touchdown dependent. It wasn't like touchdown dependent stuff. He was just putting up great numbers, great yards, and he was just a really involved piece of this offense.
Dude,
And I just don't see too many worlds where he's not in the top 15 fully healthy.
the Bucs have like 6 good wide receivers. They have Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden, who was like
Watch
everyone's
out
like
for Jalen
favorite.
Darden. He's a good sleeper in Dynasty and stuff.
Great, dude.
Him.
Everyone loved him as a prospect coming out on fantasy Twitter. Jalen Darden, he was a small school guy, really twitchy, good athlete. I think he was a 3rd or 4th round pick this season, this year in the draft, or maybe 5th. He might have slipped a little bit, but he was a really good wide receiver prospect coming out, and he's just on that depth chart, just sitting there. Mixed with Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, and Chris Scott. I mean, there's just so many skill position players on this team. It's ridiculous. Like,
and
there's
you have Rojo and Fournette and the run game, and then you have Gio in the passing game as well. It's just a lot.
And you have Keyshawn Vaughn, who's just sitting there. And then tight ends, you have OJ Howard and Cameron Brate and Gronk. Like,
yeah,
is Brate on the team still? I feel like he's gone. I don't know. Cameron Brate.
Oh man, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Regardless, the team is just loaded top to bottom. Like it's so good. It's so good. Tom Brady is my QB6 in redraft this year. I love Tom Brady.
Akash says he is. He's on PUP.
Oh, he's on the pup? Okay. Well, he's on the team. There you go. Good enough.
Yeah, he's on the team, yeah.
Good enough.
That wasn't me. That was YZR.
Yeah,
Akash here.
That's my boy. Okay, moving on to our last team and the most interesting one. I think every other team is pretty set in stone except for the Saints quarterback position. The Carolina Panthers, besides Christian McCaffrey, that entire roster is a question mark in my opinion.
Okay, so I want to start with DJ Moore, the highest ranked probably out of these guys.
Sure. We both hate DJ Moore, don't we?
What?
Don't we both hate DJ Moore?
I'm very low on him.
Same. I don't like him.
I have my wide receiver 24. I'm very low.
Oh, wow. You're really low. Hold on. Let me see where I have him. I don't love him either. But I don't think I have him that low.
I have Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, and Jerry Jeudy right behind him. They're very close. I could switch any of those guys over DJ Moore today, and I wouldn't be too surprised of myself.
Let me see where I have him.
I'm very anti-DJ Moore. It's just...
I have him as the wide receiver 23. I have Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase ranked over him, actually.
Really?
I do.
Oh, you are very high on both of those guys then.
Hey, dude, rookie wide receivers are the new craze, man.
Yeah, they start, like, a lot of them get in the top 24. It's just crazy. It happens. I have them ranked up just outside that range, but I'm confident both will finish as wide receiver 2s. I feel bad ranking them that low, though.
I mean, odds are DJ Moore will probably finish higher than 23 and 24, but I just don't like his upside. Like, I just don't think he's going to finish higher than wide receiver 10.
There is no top 15 upside.
No, absolutely not.
He doesn't score touchdowns, right? And people who say, oh, he might score more touchdowns this year, they've added Terrace Marshall, Christian McCaffrey's coming back, and Sam Darnold is a huge question mark at the quarterback position.
Huge. He could be, dude, Sam Darnold's either going to be so good or he's going to suck.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be an in-between. I really don't.
There really isn't. But the thing is, it's a question mark. And if he really doesn't turn out, that's even less touchdowns. He scored 4 touchdowns last year without CMC there, without Terrace Marshall. I mean, they lost Curtis Samuel, but Terrace Marshall is definitely more of a touchdown red zone threat.
Dude, I love Terrace Marshall prospect. I really hope he succeeds there. I like Terrace Marshall a lot coming out at LSU. Robbie Anderson's really sneaky too. I mean, he was so good last year to start the season.
I don't have Robbie Anderson ranked above DJ Moore, but at their values, I'd rather have Robbie Anderson.
I totally agree because DJ Moore is going as a fringe wide receiver
2,
wide receiver 2 range. Like he's like wide receiver like 16 or 18, I think, somewhere in that range.
I've seen his ADP lower. I've seen his ADP like wide receiver 20.
Really? Okay, well that's not that bad. But Robbie Anderson's like damn near free, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's close to the 9th, 10th round. He's so good.
He's insane. I mean, Robbie Anderson's a locked and loaded flex play like every week, in my opinion. He could even creep into the wide receiver 3 to 2 range. Like he's so good.
Definitely, yeah. He's very good receiver. And Sam Darnold was with him in
New York connection, maybe New York Jets.
Yeah, the Jets connection, right? Without Adam Gase anymore, it'll be great. But yeah, DJ Moore is a guy that I just like. It's not going to happen. Stop trying to make it happen for a fantasy. It's not going to happen. The touchdowns are never there.
Stop trying to make DJ Moore happen, guys. Come on.
Stop trying to make DJ Moore happen. The touchdowns are not there. They're never going to be there. There's so many other guys on this team that are going to take touchdowns, and he's just not a red zone threat. It's just not happening. I think he's a good talent. I think he's very explosive. I think he's great. But for fantasy, it's not going to happen. The touchdowns are not there. The volume is not going to be there. And those are like the two biggest things for fantasy. You just can't. It's just not going to happen. The top 15 season is not going to happen. And he also gets injured a decent amount. Like he's had a few injuries.
He's
over
had
the
a
last
lot of soft
season.
tissue injuries, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple of years ago, I believe he had a concussion. Like he was actually having a solid season. Then he had a concussion towards the end of the year. I believe it was 2019.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, he has been banged up a bit over the years.
He has been banged up, but like he just hasn't done it. And it's been like 4 years. I know he's like 24, but it's been like 4 years. Just stop. It's not going to happen. The touchdowns are not going to come. The volume is not going to be there. It's just not going to be. And Sam Darnold might not be a good quarterback. It's just not there.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things in his way. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be good enough. I just don't love him this season. But one last thing to hit on before we wrap here, the tight end situation. How are you feeling about that?
In Carolina?
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah,
no.
I mean, I kind of agree. I think it feels gross. Yeah.
Tommy Tremble could be like a Tommy Tremble. Wait, am I saying? Is that the right name? Right? Tommy Tremble's in Carolina, right?
Yeah, he's there. And
yeah, he's in Carolina.
Akash likes Dan Arnold, apparently.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, no, man.
Gosh, no Dan Arnold.
I can't do it, man. That's just no. Like, there's just so many other options. It's just too much. The offense is too crowded for any. Dan Arnold, he's a wide receiver. There's just too many options for anyone to be an alpha besides Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey is elite and he's in the run game. He's also in the passing game. But in the passing game, like these receivers and tight ends, there's no room to be an alpha. No one's going to be the clear number one target.
I feel that way too.
It's going to be spread around a lot, and I don't see anyone being an alpha. I could see everyone finishing as low wide receiver twos. I could see Robbie Anderson. I could see DJ Moore.
It kind of feels a bit reminiscent of the Steelers wide receiver situation.
If Sam Darnold really breaks out, yeah, it's gonna kind of like the Steelers situation. But I feel Terrace Marshall's a little bit more on the outside there. But if I could see Terrace Marshall finishing like in the top 30 receivers. If he,
you think so?
If
People aren't really talking about Terrace Marshall very often, I don't think.
If Sam Darnold has a really good season, like if he really breaks out, and Terrace Marshall's the third option, which I believe he could definitely be, or the fourth option behind McCaffrey, obviously. But if he's a decently evolved option, Sam Darnold really is a breakout. I could see a top 30 finish with the amount of touchdowns he could score. I could see him scoring double-digit touchdowns. That this is a really long shot. Like, I'm not really projecting this in any way, shape, or form. But I could see this totally happening. 100%. This guy could definitely have a big season. I'm targeting late in drafts and redrafts. I think he could have a nice season. But
yeah, absolutely.
There's no room for anyone to be an alpha receiver. There's no room for anyone to be a top 15 guy. That's just the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that pretty much does it for our NFC South recap with a lot of side conversations along the way. So, Hutch, thank you so much for coming on, man. Why don't you plug the Young Fantasy Mind real quick before we wrap, and then we'll head out of here.
All right, guys. So you guys can go follow me on Twitter at TYFMNFL. Please go check out my website, theyoungfantasymind.com. You could find my rankings over there. You can find the podcast, the Young Fantasy Mind Football Podcast over there. And you could find my articles over there. I recently dropped a new article, actually today, I think this morning. J.K. Dobbins, we talk about his outlook for 2021, what we should think about him, how we should be approaching his draft prices, how we should be valuing him in 2021. Very interesting to make this art, very interesting to research, very interesting to see what I think. It was just very, very interesting to do everything for this article. And wherever you're listening to the Young Fantasy Mind Football Podcast, whether it's Apple or Spotify or whatever, just subscribe, leave reviews. I just really, really appreciate the reviews I've been getting lately. A lot of new listeners lately. I really appreciate it. We're almost to 1,000 downloads on the podcast.
Nice.
If you do the math there, it's about 30 episodes per download. I mean, 30 downloads per episode right now. It's been going great. So I really appreciate all the support on Twitter. Hit 1,500 followers on Twitter a couple weeks ago. Really appreciate it. I'm just really excited for what my future holds in this industry. Thanks for letting me talk about this, Luke.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're both going to the moon. So,
yeah.
with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode of the Hooked on Fantasy Podcast. Sorry for no episodes last week. I was on vacation, took a little bit of a break. It's almost time for the NFL season, so we're going to be hitting every Tuesday and Thursday, every single week, making a ton of content, help you guys win your fantasy championship. So I'll see you next week, everybody, on Tuesday for another episode, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Peace out, everybody.